Hello and welcome to another video. In this video we're gonna be talking about leaving MAGA. Yes, we are in the middle of the government shutdown, and yes, people are leaving MAGA by the thousands. And here is a lot of people that is going to tell and explain to you why they are finally deciding to leave MAGA. It is happening. It happens to my friends. It happens to people that I know. They are just leaving MAGA. And here in this video, you're going to see why they are leaving MAGA. I know we have multiple reasons, but it seems like they couldn't see what we all can see. But please don't forget, drop a like, comment, subscribe. Help us to support Libero Media. Help us to support my channel. Thank you.
I'm making this video with a heavy heart right now. I feel so betrayed. All the time and effort that I put into my daddy Trump.
My name is Danny, and I left MAGA. I left MAGA in about 2021, but
with Trump for 9 straight years. I'm disappointed. I'm very disappointed in Trump right now.
I will not be supporting him anymore. He's part of the deep state.
The whole thing that this tape shows he didn't kill himself is like a joke. But worse than that, it's a joke that we all get. Like, they're not fooling anybody. So I feel like we're at a dangerous point now.
I'm making this video with a heavy heart right now. I feel so betrayed. All the time and effort that I put into my daddy Trump. I was out there screaming, too big to rig. Drill, baby, drill. And this is how you repay us? My wife left me. I let her go because I really believed in you, Daddy. You told me you were going to get some milk, some cigarettes, and you never came back. I've been eating Hungry Man meals for 3 months now. You know what? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm taking this damn Make America Great hat again, and I'm turning my oven on to 350, and that thing's gonna burn. I did everything you asked me. I hated the demon rats, just like you told me to do. Everything you told me. What am I gonna do with all this stuff? Nobody wants to buy my Donald Trump gold shoes. I'm turning off my Donald Trump gold, triple gold phone, and I'm switching over to Metro PCS. I'm so pissed right now. I'm gonna have a yard sale this weekend. I'm selling everything. I'm selling it all, Daddy. I'm selling your Trump steaks, your Trump shoes. I'm selling your Trump watches. I'm selling your Trump everything I got in my house. My Trump coasters, my Trump koozies, my Trump flags. I'm selling everything. So I'm going online today and I'm putting on a memo for everybody to come to the house. All gotta go. Everything. Unless you do me one thing, Daddy. Just release the list, Daddy. I even ignored the fact that you said you wanted to do your own daughter. I defended you. And this is how you repay us, Daddy. I know y'all on here laughing at me right now. Go ahead and laugh. I don't even care anymore. Get your little laugh on at my expenses. It doesn't matter anymore. I'm gonna get me some books and I'm gonna study. I'm gonna be a better man after this. I'm gonna know the difference between there, and there, and your, and your. I'm gonna know the difference so I can educate myself and I can be a better human being. You know what? I'm gonna end this video right now. Fuck you, Daddy Trump, and fuck you, MAGA. I'll never come back. I'm out of here. You'll never get my attention again. God bless you. You told me you was gonna drain the swamp. The only thing you drained was my pockets. Buying all your merch. You didn't drain anything, Daddy.
Recently, the hashtag Leaving MAGA has been trending on multiple platforms with people who previously supported Donald Trump starting to question that support based on the things they see happening in the government that they don't think are great, and I have thoughts. You see, every once in a while when I make those videos that are like finding people who did bad things, it will lead to MAGA people starting to follow me. Like the one recently where the guy attacked the kid on the dirt bike. Yeah, on Twitter, I got a huge influx of MAGA supporters that started following me because they didn't like that, even though people who know that guy told me that he's like a huge Trump supporter. So in the days that have followed, I've started to see a drop-off because the rest of my content, they don't love. And there are those who say, maybe you shouldn't be so aggressive with your words. Now's the time to extend a little kindness. You're never going to win them over if you're telling them how horrible they are. I don't want to win them over. I don't want to convince them of shit. It's 2025. If you're still supporting Donald Trump today, you're a bad person. That being said, that does not mean that I think you're irredeemable and you can't wake the fuck up. And in that case, I'm happy to have you start figuring your shit out.
My name is Danny, and I left MAGA. I left MAGA in about 2021, but the reason why I gravitated towards Trump and MAGA was because I was uneducated. I was misinformed, but at the time, it was at the height of the Black Lives Matters movement and Trump campaigning for his first presidency. And Trump convinced me, like many other white men in this country, that we were under attack. Our way of life, our values were under attack, that we were tolerant of every group unless you were a white, straight, Christian, conservative male. Then you were the cause of all the problems in this nation. And ultimately, it made me the victim. And the truth is, Trump made me feel safe in my mediocrity. When I was part of MAGA, I never had to learn anything new. And Trump didn't make me or other MAGA folks racist, xenophobic, misogynistic, transphobic, or homophobic. He just allowed us to be the people that we already were. The United States of America was founded on racism. It was founded on misogyny. It was founded on homophobia and transphobia. And when all of the isms and phobias were under attack and people were now forced to be held accountable, rather than taking it as an opportunity to grow, many white folks doubled down on their ignorance, dug in their heels, and fought back. And to the privilege, diversity, equity, and inclusion begins to feel like discrimination and oppression. And it wasn't until I decentered myself, deconstructed, that I found real peace.
And yes, what do you guys think about this movement? About this Leaving MAGA movement? And it surprised me how the last guy, the Leaving MAGA, he just like, I didn't need to learn anything. I didn't need to learn anything. Wow. So he truly didn't need to learn anything because Papa Trump, Daddy Trump will feed them what they have to think, what they have to believe. Daddy Trump will tell them everything. Yes, and he just say he just became pro-Trump. He became part of MAGA when it was on the hype of the Black Lives Matter movement. Okay, so he didn't want it to, he just say he didn't want things to be equal. He just think that white men were under attack. Can you believe that? The people that have all the privilege, the people that have all the advantage, they were under attack. What it was, the Black Lives Matters, it was just about more inclusion. It was about justice for all. Justice for black people. For we can just be equal. And sometimes being equal is not that we just give to everybody the same. Sometimes being equal and doing justice is giving a little bit more to the people that need more, giving a little less to the people that need less, and giving just the right amount to the people that need the right amount. That is what justice is. That's what democracy is all about. Because if we're giving the same amount to all the people, and maybe some of them have more, that is not justice. That is not democracy. But it seems like he finally understands what it was all about.
Hi, I'm Courtney and I left MAGA. I was a huge Trump supporter back in 2015 and 16, and then C-19 hit in 2019. And that's when I realized that the #1 job of the president, to protect the citizens of the United States, he failed at miserably. Then came the election lies, the drama, J6, and it hit me. This guy does not care about us. All he cares about is himself. And listen, it is not easy changing your beliefs, veering off course, especially when that means telling your friends, your family, people that you've known your entire life that your views have changed, that you disagree with them, that your fundamental views are completely different, that you're unlearning things, that you're questioning them. You start to learn that it's not actually about Trump or MAGA, it's an entire belief system. And that's why organizations like Leaving MAGA are so important. It's a community to fall into. It's a safe space to land, oftentimes when you don't have anywhere else.
MAGA foreign policy goes like this: Israel first, Argentina first. MAGA domestic policy is own the libs. That's it. That's the list. And what's happening in Argentina should be the canary in the coal mine for all of the MAGA voters who voted because of inflation and they wanted to be able to get further ahead in their jobs. They were sick of income inequality and they felt like Trump, for God knows what reason, was somehow going to be the change agent. And so what we have right here, put up this headline, Kylie, is Trump has extended a $20 billion line of money to Argentina to stabilize Javier Milei's failing economy. And you may be like, why the fuck does he care about this guy? Why are we giving Argentina $20 billion? Well, it turns out Milei is a huge MAGA thumper, and he went all in on Muskonomics. He's a Muskonomics guy, and you have Elon Musk and Scott Bessent. Trump has no economic plan. He has concepts of a plan, but he's never had an economic plan because he bankrupts everything. So here's what happened in Argentina. Pop this up, Kylie. Economic collapse, and then we're going to have a U.S. bailout. Milei assumed office in December of 2023 amid hyperinflation and economic chaos. He pushed a shock therapy agenda, deregulation and spending cuts. He basically eliminated a bunch of departments and did exactly what Elon Musk did with Doge and what Scott Bessent and others, Howard Lutnick and Trump, all continue to do with the United States economy. He issued a mega decree to slash regulations across the economy. Economy was extremely fragile, capital flight and currency pressure. So all investors left Argentina. Over 1 billion sold to defend the peso, and he drained the reserves. And now Milei is seeking $20 billion U.S. bailout and aid package. This happened in 2 years.
Yeah.
This happened in 2 years, and this is the exact plan. This is Muskonomics, this libertarian, cut all social services. We're so smart. We're going to fix everything. And now the United States of America is bailing out Argentina, and you have people whose social services have been cut.
One of the people that is leaving MAGA by the thousands is farmers. Farmers are getting the worst part of MAGA. And this is the thing. He just lent to Argentina $20 billion. And somehow it is not money. It is not money to save family farms. Yes, the farmers have to deal with that. They voted for him because they know. They cannot tell me, oh, I didn't vote for this. This is not what I voted for. This is what you voted for. It was really clear in Project 2025 what is going to happen to the farmers. And you know that J.D. Vance is making his fortune. It had made his fortune in selling in corporate farm. So you cannot tell me that you being a farmer and you just got a bailout for the mess that he did the last time with the tariff. He did a tariff mess the last time that he was in office, and 100,000 farms have to go bankrupt. Then Biden had to bail out these farmers for they can just barely recover, barely break even. with their farms. And now he comes and he does the same. And just like, this is not what I voted for. This is not what I was expecting for. I wasn't expecting he's gonna do this. And the thing, he just wants to rub it in their faces that he doesn't want to help farmers when he just go and lend. Supposedly he's just lending money. We don't know for sure. He's lending $20 billion to farmers in Argentina. But somehow he cannot lend money to the farmers here in the United States. This is the thing, in the case of Argentina, how they are doing this. Argentina, they just adopt the economic model that was for MAGA. So what's happening in Argentina is what's going to happen here in the United States, given 6 more months, or maybe more. Given maybe 6 months or maybe 8 months. And we need to send them money because they totally crashed their economy. We need to supposedly lend money to them for they can just fix the situation with their farmer and their whole economy. And because the president of Argentina, he's just such a Trump supporter, he just gonna bail out. And this is the thing, some friends of DT, they do have business in Argentina. That's the real reason why we're bailing out these people, because some friends of DT, some friends of DT, this whole MAGA movement, they do have projects in Argentina. And when Argentine economy went down in flames, it's going down in flames as of right now, they are losing a ton of money. So our tax-paying dollars is going to Argentina, to these rich millionaires. They are asking for a bailout. What do you guys think about that? But somehow it's no money for farmers. Yes, the welfare queen that they supposedly in their mind is black, because they just don't want to believe the majority of the food stamp recipients are white. It is no money for none of that. It is no money for Medicaid, no money for our veterans. And this is the thing, we're giving a ton of money to Israel too, but it's no money for our veterans. It's no money for Medicaid. It's no money for Medicare. It's no money for the United States.
MAGA supporters, I got one question. How y'all gonna go to that man's memorial service and leave that place junked up like that? Y'all left that memorial service, that political rally, or wherever it was, ain't gonna leave the whole location junked up with trash all over the place. All up and down that whole strip. Number of trash, whole bunch of junk. And all these grown-ass people don't have the decency to pick up after themselves. And it's gonna walk over and it's gonna leave it laying there. Ain't got no respect for the city. No respect for the employees that gotta turn around and clean up their shit afterwards. And y'all supposed to be talking about showing respect. Y'all ain't showing respect. Y'all showing disrespect. But that's like your leader. Disrespectful. Y'all gotta do better, man.
This is all going in the trash. I do not support Trump anymore. He's a liar. He's a part of the deep state. I do not support Israel. I will not be supporting him anymore. He's part of the deep state.
First and foremost, I have to say good job. And secondly, I know part of me kind of like wants to make fun of the situation, but at the same time, I feel like if people are actually waking up, it makes me wonder if many others are actually waking up to this. And as a genuine question, what was the red line for y'all, for anyone that's actually left? Was it suddenly because of like the Epstein list, because they said they had it, now they said there's not one that actually exists? Or was it something else recently that happened that made you want to leave this party? Like, I genuinely want to know. I'm not here to like start arguments or anything. And I know a lot of my previous content is based on FAFO, but it's kind of refreshing to see people waking up. And for anyone else that's actually watching this video, just let me know what your opinion about this is. Like, let me know what you think about him, if people are leaving, if it's refreshing to you, or if you still feel some sort of like way about it. Drop me a follow, like, share, comment, and repost as well.
So these Christian white nationalists, aka MAGA debaters, decide to bring their happy asses to Tennessee State University. They were not coming for no debate. They were coming to antagonize those black students and other students that are on there. I really do love the way those students responded and got their asses up out of there with knowledge. So why the fuck do white nationalists always gotta fuck with us? We don't give a fuck about you. We be minding our own damn business. That's why HBCUs are on the rise right now, and a lot of people are enrolling, which is a great thing. Leave us the fuck alone. Students and everybody above. Don't nobody give a fuck about you. Can we just move on with our fucking lives? Everybody is here to live, not die. The way that Trump administration is about to kill everybody off with this goddamn Medicaid and Medicare. It's more important shit than y'all taking y'all little racist ass to a HBCU to antagonize black students. Take that shit somewhere else.
In 2 weeks, I'm done. You want to talk about regretting your vote?
I never thought I'd say that, but I regret my vote. I voted for Trump.
I voted for Trump, and I regret it now.
As a Hispanic, I voted for Donald J. Trump. Dude, I regret it so much, man.
I am regretting my vote for Donald Trump.
I voted for Donald Trump, and now I regret it.
A lot of people who were like me voted for Trump and have to account for that.
I regret voting for Trump.
So deeply regret my vote for Donald Trump.
I regret voting for Trump.
I was a dumbass, voted for Trump. It was the worst decision I ever made.
I've seen the light, and I got out of MAGA. A lot of us there have seen the light. We have deep regrets.
I feel guilty because I voted for Trump twice. I feel very guilty because I feel responsible. That's why he's still running.
I was with Trump for 9 straight years. I'm disappointed. I'm very disappointed in Trump right now.
All right, so I voted for Trump. And
we're not surprised.
This Epstein thing is just insane. But I think it's showing us one thing, and that's our country is unified for the first time in a long time.
What?
And I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican, we all know this administration is guilty.
Oh, so, this is what it took.
I guess that's a good thing, and maybe we can unite around this and move forward.
Well, hey there, not so cool MAGA cult stepdad you. I mean, this is what it took, the Epstein files, for you to fucking finally realize how shitty this administration is. I mean, you're a family guy, it looks like. You haven't been fucking concerned about all of the families that have been snatched away and fucking kids that have been yanked up and put in fucking prisons across the country. You haven't been concerned about, them taking away fucking school lunches and SNAP benefits from fucking kids around the fucking country coming up. I mean, this is what it took, huh? Yeah, let me tell you about my day, because you fucking conspiracy theorists, yeah, I just lost even more family members today finding out that they're fucking conspiracy theory buffs, and this is what it took. And guess what? They're fucking brown. This is my in-laws finding out that this is what y'all give a shit about. You don't give a shit about anything else going on in the fucking world right now and in America right now with this fucked up administration. Anyway, I'm here to tell you that many of us, we're not all about fucking uniting and forgiving and forgetting, you fucking assholes. Yeah, what I would suggest to you, my advice to you actually, is to maybe fucking talk to some of your MAGA cult bros and maybe get them to switch on over too, because you're going to definitely need some help to unfuck what y'all definitely helped to fuck up in America right now in real time. But for the rest of y'all, have a good day now, okay?
I'm seeing so many of posts like this right now, and I have a lot to say about it. So she wrote, protecting the pedophiles is something I stand against always. Don't get me wrong. I am so excited and so glad that some women and some MAGA supporters are finally waking the fuck up. But here's the thing that really pisses me off. Why didn't you believe women in the beginning? Why didn't you believe the many women that came forward and said this man had violated them? Why aren't we believing the women that have already stated this? Why aren't you believing the audio recording that you heard him say that he can grab women by the you-know-what whenever he wants? And then he doubled down when he was asked in court about this, that yeah, he said that, yeah, you can do that because celebrities allow you to do that. Newsflash, you've never been allowed to do that. And how come it wasn't enough for you when you saw him make fun of special needs people, or you saw him or heard him say homophobic, racist comments? How come that wasn't the turning point for you? How come it wasn't the turning point for you when you saw people being grabbed off the street and sent to a horrible concentration camp? How come it took all of this for you to wake up? I guess I should just be happy that they're waking up, but I think it's so sad that there were so many signs that you ignored. So many signs, but I guess we have to take our wins where we find them. All my love.
How is MAGA responding to Trump saying that the Epstein client list never existed? Well, see for yourself.
I'm a Trump supporter, and I'm going to tell you this right now. If this is the verdict, there's no Epstein client list. If we don't get accountability for the thousands of victims that were abused, then I'm jumping ship. And all of you should as well.
This is all going in the trash. I do not support Trump anymore. He's a liar. He's a part of the deep state. I do not support Israel. I will not be supporting him anymore. He's part of the deep state.
The whole thing that this tape shows he didn't kill himself is like a joke. But worse than that, it's a joke that we all get. Like, they're not fooling anybody. So I feel like we're at a dangerous point now.
So now, by coming in and being part of the cover-up, the Trump administration has become part of it. I mean, it's just, you cannot see it any other way. So I just got to the office. I'm going to go throw up, actually. And this only happens every few years when something really, really bad happens or something. I mean, I'm physically going to puke probably right now. My mouth is watering right now. Because I have integrity.
So this message goes out to Donald Trump and his people. I've been asked before, what would it take for you to not support Donald Trump anymore? I always said, well, it'd take a lot. I've literally made thousands of videos on this app supporting you, sir. So if you're deciding that Epstein is the bridge that you're gonna burn, I got the match, sir. You're telling me there's no list after you told me there was a list. You're telling me that you don't care about these victims. This is a promise you made to the American people, sir. Non-negotiable. You've always been in tune with your supporters. Always. 100% spot on. Not this time, sir. You missed this one.
I voted for Donald Trump in 2016, 2020, and 2024. I am prepared to die on this hill. If Donald Trump is part of the Epstein list and why he has decided to pretend like doesn't exist anymore, then the war that I've been waging on liberals, I plan to wage on Donald Trump if he cannot explain or make sense of this soon. It's pointing to that he is implicated.
So I voted for Trump, and this Epstein thing is just insane. But I think it's showing us one thing, and that's our country is unified for the first time in a long time. And I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican, we all know this administration is guilty. But
I understand that it's not a natural act for us to admit that we believed lies and that we acted upon them and that we allowed those lies to shape our being and our personhood and our identity.
I am here to just give some genuine advice. When you are attempting to be accountable at this topic, saying that you've come around and see the light, kudos by the way, I recommend not going with the "we have been lied to" argument. Were some lies told? Sure, absolutely. Fox News lies all the time. But he told you everything he was going to do. Going after veterans benefits, Medicaid, Medicare, doing tariffs, getting rid of FEMA, NOAA. They said this. And you still voted for it anyway. My guess is that many of you are seeing the light because something has now directly impacted you. So when you're making those videos, You need to focus on taking accountability for the fact that back in November, you weren't thinking about how any of what he said he was going to do would affect other people. We made our decision in November based on how everything that was said was going to affect everybody. And taking that accountability and looking as to why the well-being of others didn't really matter back in November is going to be hard. If you are truly seeing the light and the error in your ways, that is a necessary thing you have to do. Because if you're not, that is showing clear as day that you are only coming and seeing the light because now something negative is directly impacting you. And that doesn't put us on the same side. I made the decision I made back in November because I care about what happens to you. But you still had all the information presented to you and you said, yeah, I'm cool with this. You can't even say, well, they lied. They told us tariffs will be good for the country because Google is free. I didn't know everything that came along with tariffs, so I looked it up on an educational website and within 5 minutes went, ho, 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 this is not good for us. But the information was there. I am glad that these videos are being made. I am glad that you are seeing the light. Please, I do not advise you to say, it wasn't our fault, we were lied to. It's not true, and you're not going to get the reaction you want. You have to do the work.
Funny, I don't see anybody begging for a civil war anymore. Matter of fact, the right looks really quiet right now. What happened? Did the dynamic change? Are you starting to notice the trends with the acts of violence? Every single time you guys blame the left before we even get a suspect. You guys get all up in arms. Trigger happy fucking freaks. But we always seem to find out that it was one of you. And then you guys go quiet for a couple days. Then half of you lie and try to spin it to go some direction you want it to go. And the other half just ignore the situation at all. Pretending that if you don't fucking pertain to it, it doesn't exist. However, no, dude, like, you guys just tried to initiate a civil war against us for something you fucking did. And every single act of violence that I've seen so far always traces back to you guys. You guys are a threat to this nation.
I'm leaving MAGA is trending right now. And I said back before the election, I'm done arguing with these fools in the comments. I'll come back to this post. Y'all remember he kept saying all this crazy stuff? And this was the response every time. What he meant was, he meant what he said. People with common sense could tell when he was lying. If it wasn't in Project 2025, it was a lie. But I'll summarize what a lot of you thought he meant. Whether you're in the firefighters union, or a cop that saw when he pardoned the J6ers to beat the hell out of your brother, or an immigrant worried about deportation, you thought you were the exception. What that guy say? No, you're not. Now we're seeing all these great awakenings, which is cool for you personally, and I'm all for personal growth, but you're too late. The markets are crashing, the prices ain't going down, planes falling from the sky. He knows all about Project 2025, go figure. Got a South African sugar daddy, we didn't see that one coming. You bought it all because you thought you were the exception and it was okay as long as it was happening to somebody else. So before y'all post, just be real. I make over $300,000 a year. I got caught up in my money, got a change of heart now. I can respect that. I didn't realize how racist I was. I'm learning about myself. Wish I didn't vote that way. I can respect that. I didn't realize how much of a hypocrite I was. I was so worried about things that was none of my business. Amen. And chose him anyway. Amen. I can respect that. But to say, oh, I didn't know this was going to happen to me. I didn't know I was going to be affected too.
Yes. And what do you guys think about this movement of leaving MAGA? Do you guys think they are too late to be redeemable? Do you guys think that it's a little bit too late for them? But what surprised me is this guy, the one that we just watched with the green hat. He just say like, I didn't need to learn anything. Yes, because that's what the MAGA movement is all about. Trump fit them with everything.
Okay, go ahead. Tell me. You're not going to pay property taxes. You're not going to pay income taxes. You're going to have a lot more money in your pocket. I can't remember all of the rest of the details, but it's going to be amazing.
The jokes really do write themselves because 3 days ago, did I not just say this in my video?
Many Americans who voted for the talking orange believe that rules for thee and not for me is how things are going to play out, and it's just not. There are many Americans who are waking up to find out that their lives are going to be impacted by this. Many of them are effing around and finding out the hard way.
And now look at the Republicans effing around and finding out.
I'm Hispanic and I vote for Mr. Trump. We vote for Mr. Trump. Yes, Mr. Trump. We love you. We love you. On the way to the White House.
Beyond betrayed. They used us. They actually, during the campaign, and I don't want to make this political, but during the campaign, the elected officials from the Republican Party, they actually told us that he was not going to touch the documented people.
So I admit, I regret my vote for Donald Trump. I regret it because I needed these changes sooner. I needed the prices to go down sooner so that I didn't drain out my bank accounts and go into crippling credit card debt.
All right, you shady motherfucker, listen up and listen good. I voted for you because of your no tax on overtime bill, amongst other things. But here's the deal. I just read your great big beautiful bill, and it's bullshit.
As easy as it would be for me to say that I wasn't thinking when I voted or that I don't watch the news, I had to ask myself the same question that hundreds of you are asking me, is why did I vote the way I did? I've spent the last few days reflecting, and I feel like I came through some sort of revelation.
You know why we voted for Donald Trump? Because the middle class man finally thought he was going to get ahead in life. You said no taxes on overtime. Big, bold, beautiful letters. We thought, hell yeah, why would we not vote for that? Then you turn around and pass the bill and it's a crock of shit. It's a tax credit for the people that make a certain amount of money. Of course, when you put it in big, bold, beautiful letters, it looks great. We're going to vote for you. And you knew what you were doing. You were baiting people in saying, no taxes on overtime. You didn't give no fucking details. Your details that we read.
All I can say, I was a dumbass, voted for Trump only because of my beliefs. People around me encouraged it. I can think for myself, yes. But I felt at the time that was the better choice. Now I'm looking at it with everything going on. It was the worst decision I ever made. I wanted not to vote.
I was a MAGA junkie.
A MAGA junkie who thought her government job would be safe with Donald Trump in office. She was wrong.
I cried. It's scary, you know, it's a really scary thing. And I was embarrassed. He's a good boy.
Higgett was abruptly fired last month from the Treasury Department's Bureau of Fiscal Service, based here in Parkersburg, West Virginia. The reason given for the firings of 125 probationary employees at the Bureau? Poor performance.
If you could say anything to President Trump now, what would you say? I expected better from you. I really did. I expected that you would do what was right and cut waste and fraud and all of those things that you promised us before we elected you in office, but you're not doing that. You're creating a disaster, and I don't know what America's going to look like if this continues.
I know you told me you voted for President Trump. What were you hoping that he would do?
I was hoping he would did something that made sense regarding the economy, made some kind of progress in bettering, you know, the benefits of being a veteran. But I mean, it just seemed like he actually cared about doing what was best for the country. But now it just feels like all about me, Donald Trump, not, you know, the guy out there working in the trenches trying to make ends meet, trying to pay a mortgage, trying to pay the bills. You know, it goes against everything I expected when, you know, I voted for him.
I just need someone to explain something to me. I live in Alabama, and my utility bill usually averages between $200 and $250 a month. Can someone please explain to me how my utility bill went from $250 a month to $696 this month? Could someone just please explain that to me? I know it was cold last month, but $696? Explain.
Cumplió con todos los requisitos, al pie de la letra, entonces se terminó el caso, se cerró 6 meses. Lo detuvieron en el aeropuerto de Ley, nos mandaron a un county jail en North Carolina por 3 días y luego lo movieron aquí a donde estamos ahora.
Le dijo que iba a ir por todos los delincuentes, que entraron ilegal.
Y ahí lo dijo muy claro.
Lo dijo bien claro.
Pero pasamos de tener una puerta abierta completamente a cerrarla con 10 cerrojos.
Es un engaño masivo lo que hizo. Es un mentiroso que está mucha gente enojada. No solo inmigrantes. Gente que vive aquí, que tiene generaciones y generaciones de estar en este país.
And who can forget about the Cubans and the Latinos for Trump? That now they are regretting their vote. Now they are sad because somehow they just losing their benefits. And now they are crying. Yeah, Daddy Trump, Papa Trump. Please, Papa Trump, don't do this to us. Don't deport us. And yes, they're really sad, but what can you do? What can you do?
You all asked, and here it goes. Here's my Trump hat. It's right here. It hasn't gone anywhere, and it doesn't change anything. Regardless, I am still going to enjoy my summer.
I'm just trying to trust the universe. Trust God. Trust myself.
Well, I'm trying not to laugh. This is her now.
It's been happening frequently at the 333 Miami Avenue Federal Court building. Janet Correa's husband was detained this week. According to her immigration lawyer, he has already been placed on expedite removal.
I wasn't just a Trump supporter. I was a true believer. I was one of his closest advisors. I spent Easter, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's all at Mar-a-Lago. I saw him when the cameras were off, Behind closed doors, Trump mocks his supporters. He calls them basement dwellers. On a hospital visit one time when people were dying in the ICU, he was mad that the cameras were not watching him.
How come everybody I know of that went to college is a Biden supporter? Yeah. And I don't understand how everybody is a Biden supporter if you just went to college. So what are they teaching in this college? Are they teaching anything?
Stuff like inclusivity and respecting other people, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, woke.
Yeah, wokeness.
I just want to say that if you guys think this is a Republican Party issue, then you don't understand what it means whenever schmozzies infiltrate a government. You mean Biden, who proudly stood next to segregationalists in his younger politician days that genocided the holy people of Gaza. You mean Biden, who opened up the border and siphoned billions of our dollars over to Israel, a war profiteer, to, gave Donald Trump his entire platform to run on, who knew he was sick and waited until the very last second and then dropped out and gave Kamala 2 months to run a presidential campaign. A lot of people in America have no idea what's really going on. And this type of statement is so disrespectful to the true red. People like John Bolton, who were Donald Trump went after John Bolton with his very first, one of the first 5 executive orders. Whenever that ink was fresh, he literally took away John Bolton's security clearance. And then attacked him again recently because John Bolton is more of a problem for Donald Trump than most of your sitting Democrats that are working with the regime to implement what's going on. And John Bolton's a Republican. If your Democrats listened, if y'all listened to the true deep red, who told everyone that he was an Adolf follower and that he was a national security threat, but you don't see Democrats blasting that piece of information. You mean the list of deep red Republican generals that have been removed from Pentagon that made the newspaper about his rerouting of power within Pentagon. You mean all of the Republican generals that had a backbone that stood up to him. People that openly endorsed Kamala Harris and probably would have voted for Barney in order to keep our country out of his hands. Anyone who knows what a Republican value system is, none of this is Republican. None of this is Republican. And y'all are super disrespectful because once again, a lot of your Democrats are a part of it too. But y'all are obviously psyopted by the two-party political scheme.
So we have a lot of new followers. We're going to talk about this again. How did I change? And the short answer is I finally started listening and validating the experiences of people who have been marginalized and oppressed by our systems and institutions rather than telling them what their experience is, was, or should be. Now, many people know I went from professional baseball, I signed with the Atlanta Braves, to addicted to drugs, to homeless, to 10 years in the Florida Department of Corrections, to now doing the work of anti-racism. And while in prison, I met a black Muslim by the name of Rashawn Clark. I was a white Christian nationalist, but didn't really know that that's what I was. I just considered myself a Christian conservative. Rashawn was sentenced to 20 years in prison at the age of 16, followed by 10 years of probation for one felony in which nobody was hurt. The Department of Juvenile Justice recommended that he get tried as a juvenile and given a rehabilitation program rather than being tried as an adult and going to prison. They sent him to prison anyway. I, on the other hand, had 14 felonies. I had been to prison back home twice before Rashawn got out once. And while in prison, I would tell Rashawn to stop being the victim. Systemic racism does not exist. That was a long time ago. It's time for us to take personal accountability for our actions. These are the consequences of our choices, and now we have to accept them. And Rashawn looked at me and said, "That's easy for you to say. I take personal accountability for my actions. I know I was wrong, but I was also a 16-year-old kid." That judge didn't see me as such, is what he said. When he sentenced you, he looked at you as the all-American boy, a guy that had went to college, ex-professional baseball player, somebody who just suffered from mental health and substance abuse and needed a little time out and redirection and probably some rehabilitation. He thought that your life was worth redeeming. He said, in fact, you had been arrested 10, 15 times before they even considered sending you to prison. He said, me, on the other hand, they looked at me as being inherently violent. They didn't see a 16-year-old kid. They didn't see innocence. They saw a criminal, a thug, a savage. When that judge looked at you, he probably saw his son in you. He did not see that in me. He didn't think that I had any redeeming qualities, is what Rashawn said. He thought I was inherently violent. Rashawn then went on to tell me to read a book by Michelle Alexander called The New Jim Crow, Mass Incarceration in the Age of Colorblindness. Now, in Florida prisons, they don't allow that book to go in there. They don't allow it to circulate the prison. And every time Rashawn and I would talk, one thing he would always say to me is that you underestimate me. And he was right, because I looked at him as a young black kid in the system. What could he possibly teach me? I have some college education. I was arrogant. I was loud. I was proud. And I did not take the time to listen to the wise words of somebody who did nothing but read while they were in prison. And when I got home, I read that book and it forever changed my life. But this is what I learned. The 13th Amendment was the abolishment of slavery, except when punishment for a crime. So after the Civil War, they abolished slavery, but then they created a loophole for legalized slavery through the form of crime and mass incarceration. Fast forward 100 years, we had Jim Crow segregation. Black people faced second-class citizenship. They were disenfranchised from voting. They had to pass literacy exams and pay poll taxes in order to vote. They were discriminated with education, employment, and housing based solely on the color of their skin. We passed the 1964 Civil Rights Act, the 1965 Voting Rights Act, which says we can no longer discriminate based on race. Most white Christian conservatives believe that's when racism ended in this country. But what we witnessed after the passing of those two bills was an explosion in our prison population. We went from 300,000 to 2.1 million inmates in the United States of America. 5% of the world's population, 20 to 25% of its prison population. And this is the staggering number I learned. 1 in 3 black males carry a convicted felon label, 1 in 6 Hispanic males, 1 in 17 white males. Why is that? Because there's one group of people in 2025 that we can still legally discriminate against. We can disenfranchise from voting, we can relegate to second-class citizenship, we can deny housing, education, and employment. And that one group of people is convicted felons. Now, do you think it's a coincidence that black people carry 1 in 3 convicted felon labels, that our prisons and jails are filled with black people? So I had to ask myself this question: are black people inherently criminal and violent, or is there something more nefarious at play? And if I, as an American, believe that black Americans are inherently violent or inherently more criminal, then yes, I am racist and I'm contributing to the politics of white supremacy. And I realized that I had to do something to change my life.
Hold on, what did you just say about Trump?
I said, Trump's a fucking liar. Inflation's going up. Gas prices hasn't really come down that much. Eggs, that's the funny one. The eggs. I'm mad. And I'm a MAGA man. Okay? I don't see anything he's done.
So is it safe to say that the illusion has faded?
I think it has, yes. You know, I was for him because, you know, everything he said, you know, he played right into my hands. He just told us everything we wanted to hear. That's what he did. I can't even stand to look at him because, you know, he's just he's a con. He's a flat ass, nothing but a fucking con. You know, they all the right side, they say, oh yeah, the Biden side was so bad. Well, what's so good about the right side? He brags about doing something with our economy, but I haven't seen anything happen yet. That big beautiful bill is going to add, they say $2.5 trillion. It's going to add about $4 trillion to the debt. The big beautiful bill. Oh, what a joke. Remember what happened in the 80s with trickle-down economics? Yeah, the filthy rich got richer and us guys that worked for a living paid more taxes. I'm disappointed for sure. I'm real disappointed.
Yes. And what do you guys think about this movement of leaving MAGA? Do you guys think they are too late to be redeemable? Do you guys think that it's a little bit too late for them? But what surprised me is this guy, the one that we just watched with the green hat. He just say like, I didn't need to learn anything. Just because that's what the MAGA movement is all about. Trump fit them with everything.
So nice to have the world visibly catching up with what I've been saying for 8 months. so I don't look like this lone bugler out here going doo, 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 doo. Like, they're leaving, they're waking up. And it started back in January. January 20th is the first day people left when they saw that salute. And even Pete Buttigieg is talking about how, you know, they're leaving, they're waking up. And that's important for politicians to start talking about that, because language can shift realities. Like if we start just casually going, oh yeah, it's awesome, everyone's waking up, people are leaving, that starts to make people go, they are? Wait, what? You know, it makes them have to start questioning things even more. So this is just a series of videos of other people talking about this besides me, whether they themselves woke up or if they've seen people waking up, because if you get flashes of the right side, it is everywhere. Now, are there people doubling down? Are there people trying to, you know, put their feet down? Yeah, that's part of leaving, because it's fear. It's fear. So you're going to see people doubling down, and that's fine. But people around them are just breaking away, and they're trying to have conversations with them. And this is a really rough process. But anyway, here's a series of these videos for you to enjoy. And this isn't a Hope Corps video. This is a Fact Corps video. They're leaving.
Someone who does see the right side of TikTok, because I do see it, and I like to read the comments, and I love to temperature check. They are crashing out. They are seeing the hypocrisy. They did not like the rally at all, because they recognize that that's what it was. They do not like the rhetoric. They don't like the vibe. They feel it's all off, all fake, and they're really, really beginning to see that. They're also really disillusioned by, obviously, the CK event that happened. Where's the bullet? What's up with the cover-up? What's up with the hatch? And they really don't like the bionic neck thing.
If you're wondering when our fellow Americans are going to recognize the damage that Donald Trump is doing to this country, I want to point out that more and more Americans are. This is easy to miss because it doesn't get covered much, but public opinion has been moving quickly and dramatically away from the president. Among young people, he's lost 34 points of support. And I think it's because he's failing to keep his most basic promises. He hasn't brought prices down. They're going up because of his actions. The economy as a whole is getting worse. And most Americans see that and recognize it. And it's showing up in the way that they think and talk about the president. So don't fall for this attempt to make you feel disempowered. Raising our voices makes a difference. It's clearly having an effect, and we've got to keep it up.
If you are still supporting Donald Trump at this point, you need to pick up a history book and recognize what he is really doing. I used to be a Trump supporter, but I woke up. What caused me to wake up is I recognized that my ex had NPD, and I learned about narcissistic personality disorder and all of the psychological abuse tactics, and I recognized that in the Trump administration. I used to be a huge Trump supporter because I grew up in Utah, and I can tell you the exact moment where I woke up. So the moment that I woke up was actually during the LA protests. I was watching all about them, and I recognized the people going to LA protest, they were not bringing violence to the protests. It was a peaceful protest, which is a right that makes America great and a right that I believe in. People should have the right to protest and the freedom of speech. And I recognized that Trump was blaming the left and calling them angry lunatics, and that he was telling his followers and his supporters that they were bringing the violence and he was making them the problem. I was in a narcissistic marriage, and this narcissistic tactic is way too familiar to me. I saw it immediately. He's actually bringing the violence, and the left was fighting for rights. They were doing something good for the country, and he brought the National Guard on our own people and then blamed the left for it. Fox News and MAGA, they believed that the left was bringing all of this violence and they are angry lunatics, and that is the narrative that MAGA gives the right about the left, but it is not true. In reality, the left are fighting for human rights, and what Trump is doing is he is getting away with doing terrible things like sending the National Guard.
Y'all, I can't make this sit right with my spirit.
You can try all you want to make this situation, y'all, I can't make this sit right with my spirit. You can try all you want to make this situation sit right with your spirit, but it's not going to. Because religion is involved, people take things at face value that other people say and do, instead of scrutinizing what they say and do and really questioning what is going on. I believe we are all being punked. I totally believe we are all being punked. I have watched everything that Erica Kirk has said and done since her husband was assassinated. And it does not sit right with me. It does not sit right with me at all. I could not stop thinking about it last night because I noticed some stuff yesterday. Some little nuances that a lot of people probably weren't paying attention to. But there are words shared between Donald Trump and Erica Kirk yesterday on that stage. Donald Trump whispered something to her while she was on stage after he called her up there, and they were standing there arm in arm. I think if the truth is actually able to come out, that people are going to be shocked. I am having to censor what my opinion is and what I really think happened, because people are so motivated and aggressive and set in stone how they feel and their perception of this situation because religion is involved. And because I have a relationship with my father, and my relationship is not based on any sort of religion, he gives me discernment within my spirit. And none of this has set right within my spirit. Absolutely.
These people that is leaving MAGA, they are so concerned about themselves. They are leaving MAGA because somehow in this MAGA situation, they have lost money, they have lost a family member, it affecting them personally. This is the thing. They are leaving MAGA only when they are affected, when they see themselves affected personally. They just don't care. They just don't care that everybody else is losing their rights. They just don't care that everybody else is losing their health care. They just don't care that everybody else is losing their food stamp. They just don't care that veterans are losing their health care.
I used to be a Trump supporter and now I'm not. Let's talk about it. I guess this is somewhat of like how I left MAGA. Back in 2016 or 2015, around when we knew that he was running, I considered myself a Republican. I was a child. I was 14, 15 at the time, right? But my mom was super conservative, super Catholic. That's what I was raised with. Honestly, being autistic and not knowing it at the time, I was more susceptible to being misled, to being brainwashed and stuff like that. So honestly, I listened to everything that my mom told me at the time. I didn't vote because I wasn't old enough to vote at the time, but I went to a Trump rally with my mom. I got into political debates at school on purpose with Democrats or children that would consider themselves to be Democrats at the time, right? Like, I joined a debate club specifically to be arguing about this stuff that in reality I didn't know anything about, right? I didn't know about my insane privilege. I hadn't gotten to that level in my education yet where I was open to more worldviews. So after I moved out of my mom's home and I moved close to a major-ish city on the East Coast, that really opened my eyes up. Like, I was living in a super diverse neighborhood. The high school that I moved to, I was one of three white students in a school that was majority all people of color. And that really opened my eyes up to how wrong my mom was, first of all, how wrong, what I thought I knew and believed in was. And it really opened me up to, like, having empathy and seeing other people's points of view and, like, understanding that, like, conservative MAGA Trump is actually not what I believe in and not what I stand for. Every day, even the past like 6 months, I feel like it's pushed me further and further to the left, where if you asked me a year ago, I would have told you I identified as a Democrat. You know, I voted for the Democratic nominee in the last presidential election. But if you asked me today, I would say, no, I don't align with the Democratic Party either. I'm definitely more further left than that. And I've actually been learning that like the Democratic Party actually isn't super left. To most other places in the world, it's actually a pretty right/center, if I'm correct, political party. So I don't know. I haven't stopped educating myself, and maybe that's what kind of flipped me over. And, you know, that along with moving out of my mom's house and like being open to the world and other people and people that didn't look like me. I think that's what did it, to be honest with you. So that's a little bit of my story. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask me. I'm very open about this. And yeah.
Have you seen the latest news about yesterday's Charlie Kirk memorial? If not, I can catch you up to speed. Trash got together to honor trash and left their trash behind. The broadcast after it ended didn't just show people walking away. They showed the aftermath and what they were leaving behind. Piles of garbage stacked in the streets. Blankets and folding chairs abandoned on the curb like somebody had been evicted. Even what looks to be a Stanley tumbler abandoned in the chaos amidst the overflowing trash bags. But I guess at the end of the day, I can't really blame them. When you stop and think about it, spreading trash all over the place might be the most accurate way to honor Charlie Kirk's memory. The guy built a career on dumping garbage into our politics, so of course his supporters turned the city into a landfill in his name. The city even said they don't know how long it's going to take them to clean up the mess they left behind. That's the legacy. Not patriotism, not pride, just a dump site of broken promises and plastic wrappers. The people who scream the loudest about saving America can't even pick up after themselves. They come in, make a mess, and expect somebody else to clean it up for them. Same with their politics. The trash always rolls downhill. It's somebody else's problem.
Story time. So a lot of people have asked me, what did it take for me to break from MAGA and how did I get there? If you go to my profile, you can see my turning point, but in order for that to have worked on me, I had to be humbled in my own personal life. So here's how the timeline goes. I don't remember a whole lot of politics being talked in my house. Certain ideas were just implied, for the most part. There were occasional times where I'd hear something like, illegals are taking the jobs and that sort of stuff being pushed into my mind. Anyway, back to the story. I was in middle school when Obama became president, and then in high school when he became president again. Personally, I had no problem with black people or a black president. What I had an issue with and was taught to think is that the Democrats were the enemy. Not necessarily in those words, but the idea was implied. And we didn't want a Democrat president, and I also heard that he was only president because he was black, not because he was qualified. 2015 rolls around and I finished with high school and I entered into the adult world. I had a miscarriage. Being raised in a Christian household, I had always been told that abortion was wrong. I was 17 and then 18 and indoctrinated. Fast forward into 2016 and I start to become more involved politically. The only difference was that at the time I trusted the people around me, like I've said in other videos. So I only looked into the sources that they provided, and everything else, I just had this idea pushed into my head that it was all fake news. So in that 2016 year, when I would debate with people, I was just repeating the same talking points that I was hearing all the time. And anything that was provided for me or to me, I didn't believe it because I was told not to believe it. That's how indoctrination works. They tell you not to criticize your own beliefs, and then because you don't criticize it, because you don't question it, you just go along with it. That's indoctrination. That's brainwashing. I also felt like whatever was happening up to that point wasn't working. I felt that way because my parents worked so much that I felt like I missed out on them my whole life. And if the world wasn't set up the way it was, if the system wasn't set up the way it was, maybe they wouldn't have had to work so much, and maybe I wouldn't have had to miss out on so much with them. So my anger was correct, but it was at the wrong people, and it was manipulated. Trump was running. He was not a politician. He was different. I was hearing those talking points of he's a businessman. And when I was provided proof that he was not a good businessman, indoctrination, don't look into other sources, don't believe him. I voted for him in the 2016 election, and he won. Suddenly, I didn't care about politics like I did before. I did not even bother to continue paying attention. He won and I moved on. As I was moving on, I experienced really bad, really traumatic things that really humbled me. The first one being a domestic violence relationship at 19. Not going to get into details on that, but it was something that I never thought I would be in, and that I was. I experienced a few other very traumatic things, and they were also humbling in their own ways. My late boyfriend passed away. I went through a short period of homelessness and feeling like I had nobody to turn to. And the partner that I had was so disconnected. 2020 rolls around and George Floyd dies. The video shook me. So I started looking at Black Lives Matter as not a racist, anti-white organization, but maybe there was something else that I was missing. Maybe there was a perspective I didn't know, because how could I know it? I'm not Black. And I started listening to stories from people that I knew, people that I went to school with. And then my turning point happened. And I still wanted to believe that Trump was for the people. I didn't want to believe that he was racist, and I didn't want to believe that he was anti-American yet. The turning point came. The peaceful protesters were tear gassed, and I tried to gaslight myself. He's gonna say something. I kept telling myself he's gonna say something. I mean, it wasn't like he was the one that went up to the security people or police or whatever and said, go tear gas them so I can do a photo shoot. That's how I was justifying it to myself. So I thought he'd make a statement, and I waited, and I waited, and I waited. He never made a statement. It never came. He never said it was wrong. He never said it shouldn't have happened. He never said anything. And then, from gaining awareness in my personal life and also stepping away from politics and not being brainwashed by Fox constantly over all that time, I was able to finally read between the lines and see, oh, he's not a politician, but he's still not one of us. He's privileged in a way that not even all white people understand. He's never had to question whether or not he was going to be able to pay a bill or feed himself or his family. He's never had to question whether or not he was going to be able to keep the lights on or pay his car insurance or his car note. He's not like us. Thanks for listening.
I just watched this woman describe leaving MAGA, and the way that she ended it was, in order to move forward, we need more people to leave, and we need them to have a safe landing place. So in order for you to be able to leave the cult, where the plan is to hurt other people, you need a safe place to land. In order for you to stop hurting other people, you need to feel safe. This is from the group who constantly accuses Democrats of creating safe spaces. So if we don't welcome you with open arms, you're just gonna continue on. That's the threat, that's the thought process. You'll just keep on hurting people, even though you've realized that it's wrong and it's all for nothing because he's nothing but a gigantic liar. If we don't now welcome you with open arms and create a safe landing place for you. Here's an idea. Just stop hurting people. Pick yourself up by your bootstraps. You should have just complied. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Come up with a plan. That's what you ask other people to do. Do it yourself.
We just made it towards the end of this video. Please don't forget giving a like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps my channel to grow and it helps other people to find my content and my video. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I highly appreciate that you staying towards the end. You guys take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.